Yeah. Am I good? He's good. All right. What a refreshing evening this is. Who thought of Restless? Who never thought? Who did think of that?
I did.
Oh, I forgot to write your name next to that. Give him credit. Always give credit where credit is due, my mom used to say, even if you did steal it. This is my favorite parts of the evening where I get to brag unabashedly on a feature while she goes there, no, not that story, not that story, not the one about the boxcars. I won't do the boxcar. She doesn't. She said, never do the boxcar story. I won't. You'll have to ask her about that. All right. Shizue Seigel is the feature of this evening. Okay. And give her a round of applause right now because I'm going to brag a bit here. Now, how I came to be familiar with her, Jimmy, thank you, dear. I'm hearing you. Anyway, sorry about that. Where was I? Oh, yes. How I came to understand who she was that David Erdreich, where's he? Where'd he go? Back over there. He gave me an anthology called Endangered Species, Enduring Values. And he read from it a few times, and he gave me a copy, and then he said, you should have some of these people come over here. So I thought, okay. I contacted the editor of this wonderful anthology, and we talked, and then we arranged a set of readings that are happening. Well, the first was last week. This is her evening, and then next week with Kim Shuck, it's another iteration or another step in the whole series. So all the readings in April plus last month are all part of the event. But hers is one of my favorite phrases, and it really suits her very well. There's the term passionate compassion. And that is a term, to me, it speaks to the heart of what it is to be a poet, and it certainly describes part of what she does. She cares, she's concerned. She has a history, and she has suffered through that, and there's long stories there. She has courage, she has given of herself to help others. I mean, hard to get better praise than that. She sacrificed to make sure that other people had what they needed to keep themselves healthy. And at that time she was doing that, they weren't paying her, so she decided to keep the care going on her own. And it was a tough one. So she has heart, courage, she has clear ways of expressing herself, but I'd rather have her up here rather than you have to listen to me describe it. The real thing is coming forward. Now, give her a nice round as she comes up here. We're going to arrange this. Okay. Now, make sure this is right. You want me to give you like a 5-minute warning or something like that?
Yeah. I think I'll be okay.
Okay.
But,
all right.
you can do whatever you want.
Yeah. All right.
You can boo me off the stage if you want.
All right. Well.
Timers are.
Oh, let me make sure you're framed there. All right. There we go.
Well,
give her a nice round. There she is. Now she's ready to go. Woo!
Well, I don't know if I can live up to that introduction, but.
I try.
This is the book that this series of 5 weeks is drawn from, Endangered Species, Enduring Values. And I'll also be reading a couple pieces from the previous anthology, Standing Strong, Fillmore and Japantown. And I have a new one that I'm working on, so I'm a little brain dead tonight because I'm trying to figure out how I can squeeze 90 writers into the next anthology.
Carefully.
Civil Liberties United. So if you're interested in the book launch for that, that'll be June 22nd at the Corrad Auditorium, Main Library. So I'm actually not going to be reading poetry on National
it's your
Poetry
choice.
Month, but I'm reading about women.
All right.
So anyway, the reason that I've been doing these anthologies is I went to so many poetry readings and writing workshops where I'd look around the room and the room was not reflective of the diversity of the city. So somebody tell me what's the percentage of people of color in this town?
15%, 20%.
More than that.
No, 40. It's like 48 or something like that. I remember.
It's 58.
Oh.
As of a couple of years ago,
Oh,
and I
okay,
just
I'm
looked at
dated.
the census estimate, and this year it's going up to 60 is what they're estimating, in spite of gentrification, which I think we'll find out that assholes come in every color because who can afford to move here anymore?
Well,
Anyway,
The very poor.
yes, that's true too. Anyway, so thank you, Dan, for having us for the rest of the month, and last month week with Queen Andi Shabazz. And anyways, next week Kim Shuck will be doing a whole 20-minute set. Because she is so generous that she'll go to 1 million readings and read 1 or 2 poems and then leave the stage for other poets. And I said to her, you've been writing some remarkable stuff lately. I want you to take the whole 20 minutes. So.
and she said yes. That's very clear.
And then the week after will be Kimi Sugioka and Thomas Robert Simpson. If you haven't heard of him, he's the founder-director of Afro Solo Theater Company, and he does amazing one-person shows, and he produces stuff with other people. And then the last week will be Gail Mitchell and Tony Robles. So, let me read. I should tell you also that one of the things about the anthology was I'm not one of these people that hangs out a lot and goes to readings and stuff. I mainly like to walk around and talk to people. So I spend a lot of time trying to drag ordinary people into the book. And a couple of examples of people in endangered species. Dr. Sriram Shamasundar, who's given a TED Talk on Ebola. He works for UCSF, and he writes about, he does like healthcare equity around the world. And he writes about when he was a resident at a county hospital, coming out of the bathroom one day without his lab coat and his stethoscope, and being collared by the security guard who looked at his dark skin and thought that this South Indian man was shooting up in the bathroom. Or Sandra Bass, who is an associate dean at UC Berkeley, who was dressed for work, taking out her garbage. She lives sort of in Pacific Heights area, taking out her garbage on the way to work one morning. The new gentrifying neighbors say, "Hey, why are you going through our trash? I'm calling the cops." So, anyway. So, I'm going to read a little bit about my 2 grandmothers. The Japanese word for grandma is bachan. Bachan grandma. Of you, I know mostly facts, not feelings. Your eyes were like jet, brightly opaque, seeing all without weakness. Gaman, endure, persevere beyond hope. Kichinto shinasai, do it just the right way. The year before you passed in 1981, you dreamed you died, but the gatekeeper sent you back because you hadn't suffered enough. They say nirvana, the Pure Land, awaits those who can say 3 times from the heart, Namandab, Namandab, Namandab. I put my faith in the Buddha. In 1913, you put your faith in a man from the next village who left behind his 2-acre rice plot in a narrow mountain valley in Japan. When the man called you to California, you went, wooed by photos of horse and plow, haystack and wagon, and promise of mutton leg sleeves and an ostrich plume hat. So you packed your best kimono and steamed over the long ocean to the big land. You placed your faith in this man, this life, this land, and it was good. Though children died and crops failed, you prayed to the Buddha in the dining room and Kami-sama in the kitchen. When plows turned up arrowheads, you asked the Shinto priest to placate the spirits who loved the land before you. You worked around the alien land laws, shipped your produce to LA, dressed your sons in sailor suits and your daughter in silk stockings. Where did your faith go in 1933 when your husband drove into a telephone pole and his stomach filled up with blood? The hospital would not x-ray. They called it pneumonia. The insurance company would not have to pay double indemnity for accidental death. You said he might not have died if he'd been white. You said it only once, but afterwards you often walked to the cliff's edge, looking west across the seething sea towards home. Gaman and gambate, suck it up, never give up. Put your faith in 140 acres and 4 children. Hire a new foreman. Grow lettuce and peas and cantaloupe. Then a white man bought the land out from under you, wanting to profit by doubling your lease. But you told him no. Moved off the land and up the hill, built another house. Reached out to your community. Let's all tell him no. For a full year, no Nihonjin leased in your place. The land fallowed until the landlord knuckled under and let you come back at the same price. That kind of Jap conspiracy does not go unpunished. So, in 1942, Pearl Harbor forced you from the coast. Barbed wire snagged you and cast you into the searing desert over the objection of the local Indian tribes, imprisoned with thousands of others in acres of tar paper, shimmering like a mirage that would not dissolve. Tucked inside your shoe, all that remained of your previous life. A clipping. Jap house burns to the ground. What did you have left when they let you out in 1946? Don't come back to the coast, friends warned. They're shooting out our windows at night. They won't sell us gas or fertilizer. So you came north to start again at 57 on your knees, sharecropping strawberries in another tar paper compound. Took 10 years to save enough to buy 10 acres of your own. Gaman, gaman, and gaman some more. Persevere in the face of hardship. Where did your faith go? Maybe your soul wore away in pieces too small to notice, until all that was left was efficiency. Washing the rice, goshi, 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 scrubbing the grains 3 times firmly, mentally plotting how to live without wasted motion. Chanto shinasai, do it right. How much suffering was enough? Your cactus still grows by the garbage can. So that was my mom's mom. This is about my dad's mom. Single rooms, daily, weekly, monthly of piss. Don't touch the walls, my mother says. She gathers her skirts tightly. They will not brush the stamped metal wainscoting, painted institutional green and stained with grease from many hands. Bachan is waiting for us at the top of the stairs at the end of a long hall lined with bleak single rooms. She's a tiny woman, skinny as the broom she wields, as crooked as the teeth jammed any which way in her mouth. Yokata ne, she says when she sees us. Isn't it good? Namandam. I pay homage to the Buddha. And as she beams, it is good. All of it. The 10 kids she raised in this Skid Row hotel. elderly and alcoholic residents who call her mama and eat her fruit, a nervous mother, a little girl with eyes like cameras. Nothing escapes the embrace of Bachan's compassionate view. One day, as she and I walk to the store, a stubble-faced man with watery blue eyes blocks our path. "Hey, missus, how's it going?" Fellows. "Ah, blonde son, Mr. Brown, long time no see." She chuckles and bows, peers deeply into his eyes. "How you doing? Okay?" The man, well, you know, he ducks his head and squints hopefully. "I'm trying, you know." Bachan pats his arm. "You good, man. Remember that? You be okay." The man nods, and then he notices me peeping from behind Bachan's purse. He begins to rummage frantically through his pockets. Does he have a gun, I wonder? Is he gonna rob us? Wait, got it. He pulls out a butterscotch candy from a sweat-stained pocket and holds it out to me. My knees lock in resistance as Bachan gently pushes me towards him. "Aren't you a little cutie?" the man says, bending down and wreathing me in the sickly sweet aroma of stale muscatel. I look at the candy. The wrapper is crushed and covered with pocket lint. "Don't touch, it's got germs," Mom would have said, but Mom's not here. I look at Bachan. Take it, she says. "Say thank you." "Thank you." I take the candy with the tips of my fingers, careful not to touch the man's hand. The man's red-rimmed eyes well up. He straightens up and says to Bachan, "You know, my little girl was about that age." Bachan nods. She holds his gaze for a long moment. "Sorry. I so sorry. You good, man." Mom would have made me throw out the candy, but I unwrap it and stick it in my mouth. It's so old that my teeth sink through a layer of gummy softness before hitting the clean crunch of butterscotch. I savor the sweetness as I follow Bachan down the street. All right, I think the universe is telling me I better not go too long. All right, oops, sorry. All right, so I will pass, how am I doing, Dan?
Oh, you got about 7-8 minutes.
Okay. All right, I'll do this then.
All right.
The year that bad became good. This is in the 80s. This is me. Each noon in the deep, dark canyons of finance, the sidewalk people await handouts from workers scrambling for quiche and latte and maybe some dry cleaning on their midday break. One woman is there and yet not there. She folds her legs in a yoga pose, soles upturned towards the sky, straight back, refusing support from the polished granite behind her, eyes closed in determined repose. So she doesn't have to see the gum-spotted pavement, the scant scattering of coins, and curious looks of strangers. Beside her, a talisman of better times, a briefcase, oiled leather with chipped initials. Every day she sits like an open sore, begging us to guess a story she can't bear to tell. As days blur weeks and months, her trench coat grows dingy. The velvet ribbon in her gray hair droops, hangs in there. Though her husband died of AIDS and SSI only covers half the month's rent, Annie's smile moves the cops to smile back, and her landlord stores her bags for her when she has to sleep on the street. Annie's gums are so loose she pulls out teeth with her fingers, but Annie knows how to capture sun and share it with anyone who says hello. After lunch, I enter the cage that will shoot me up to my cubicle on the 24th floor. The elevator darkens when the CEO strides in. His wrestler's shoulders strain the seams of his Italian suit, but his 5 o'clock glower pins us against the stainless steel paneling. As we rise noisily higher, we know we're moving till we're nearing a stop. One day, her boss made her take his mistress for an abortion that morning, and then spend her lunch hour at Tiffany's choosing a diamond bracelet for his wife.
Oh.
Sorry about the Auntie Lou's rag rug. This rag rug migrated to the kitchen when you could finally afford a green shag carpet for the living room you only used when company came. You always had cold chicken and pound cake for anybody who dropped in. Little did we heedless youths know how hard you worked, how hard you and Pops worked to piece together what you gave so freely to your kids and your friends. This rag rug is as beautiful as your rough brown hands that made it. Hands roughened from scrubbing floors and washing windows. All right, I lost the rest. It's probably in the, sorry about that. Ben, the pages that you took from me, they're probably in there, I'm sorry. God, I'm sorry. I know it's in here, I just, I thought I would try, remember, I've seen poets, they read and they throw the page on the floor.
I know.
I am, okay, here it is, all right.
Good.
As rough as the hands that made the rug. Hands blistered by a hot iron or grease from a spattering pan as you cooked and cleaned for the white folks up the hill. This rug is as beautiful as the heels slopping out of your slippers, the wisps of cottony gray escaping your kerchief, the turkey neck skin beneath your jutting jaw. This rug is as beautiful as the rag bag in your back room, filled with ghosts of overalls and t-shirts, Sunday suits and party dresses, house coats, and the unseen presence of prison orange. Those odds and ends traced your family's passage out of the fields and into hope that leaked slowly like a sad balloon into a limbo land of corporate hypocrisy and police misconduct. Perhaps you shielded us too much, raised us in hopeful times, unprepared for a society that takes without thanks, in perpetual thirst for more, focused on the upward trajectory, blind to the toil and trouble you paid for each small gain. Your smile curtained eternities of pain. Your eyes could tell genuine from fake. Your rug is free of polyester dreams and polysyllabic nightmares. It's as honest as cotton picked by the ancestors, mud brown and indigo, old school plaids and funeral black, like your old wooden rosary, worn from so much praying.
Wow. Thank you. Wow.
Thank you.
Passionate compassion. You know?